Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? Thank God my mic worked just then. Hey Kai, how you going? Out to lunch? Deb, Donald, Carl, George, Gen X. Who else have we got in there? J1, how you going guys? Okay, let's go to the screen. Okay, let's get into the news. Fauci should be arrested. How you going, Zal? Juanita Broderick said now Senator Rand Paul, okay, plans to send the Fauci contempt referral directly to the DOJ so Dems can't block it. Let's hope he does, because I don't trust Rand Paul. He has flip-flop a few times. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Paul. How you going, guys? Okay, and TMZ, right? Harvey Levin calls the attacks on Dr. Anthony Fauci one of the most heartbreaking things he's witnessed in government, comparing the push to jail him to the fear and persecution of the McCarthy era. Mate, you were in the Epstein files, you can't talk. Anyway, modern mangler, Dr. Fauci. I agree with that one. Okay, another one from replying to TMZ. Fauci diaries, private versus public, 5 biggest contradictions. The Wuhan lab leak theory. He believed on the 3rd of April 2020 that it now appears that the lab leak is a likely scenario, but in his public statement, there's no credible evidence to suggest that COVID-19 originated from a lab in Wuhan. And that was in May 2021, more than a year afterwards. Masks for the public? Masks are not really effective in preventing infection of the public. Thank you. But in public, everyone should be wearing masks. Masks are an important tool in our public health arsenal. Now, it's more like closing your mouth so you can't talk. It's a metaphorical thing. COVID fatality rate, the case fatality rate, more like 0.2 to 0.3% rather than 2.0. But in public, the mortality rate is likely around 2%. And that was like a month later. School closures. Keeping children out of school is a mistake. The negative impact is enormous. That was on August the 10th, 2020. But on August the 19th, 2020, there's no doubt that closing schools is the right thing to do. So complete difference between his private thoughts and what he's doing publicly. Natural immunity. Natural immunity is real. It's very difficult to ignore. September the 15th, 2021. But on December the 1st, 2021, I do not think natural immunity is reliable. One man, two messages, millions misled. Accountability matters. And he should. It should. How you going, Galactic? How you going, Shannon? Huntberg? Good to see you guys. Okay, Joe Lang said Bill Gates has a security clearance. He was just drawn into the Fauci investigation narrative. It's all going to be exposed. Fauci is the doorway to many conspiracies across the world, creating viruses and using people as guinea pigs in dangerous experiments for population control. Not to mention dogs. Remember the beagles? That he had flies eating their faces and had their tongues not ripped out, but cut out so that they couldn't cry. Yep, this is crazy. Johnny Midnight, this is brought to you by Pfizer and Dr. Fauci. Now, I can't play the music. Just give me a sec. Whoa. Can't play that music. Okay, but watch all these people on TV and tell me this is just a coincidence. Come on. Number one. Number two. Number 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. He's having a seizure. Yep, how many? How many of them? Look at how many. This is what this man did. Him and a few other people. And they all need to face justice for what they've done. It just keeps going, guys. Absolutely crazy. Okay, Ellie Mae said language warning in the video. I was and am pissed. There's no reason for this man not to stand tall behind everything that he did during COVID-19. There's no reason for Liberals to continue to ignore what's right in front of their effing faces. The narratives have been destroyed time and time again. The conspiracy theorists that they demonise, dox, sent death threats deserve a massive effing apology. The doctors that you shun from society simply because they had a difference of medical opinion on what they'd seen and observed. Removing people's accounts from the internet because they didn't go along with the well-put-together script that Fauci and the mainstream media put out to the public. Demonising, berating, and at times hurting people in public who simply didn't want to live in fear like the rest of the world. Calling church worship or a Trump rally a super spreader, but not doing anything over mass protests across the country, those fiery but mostly peaceful protests, which had a hell of a lot more people than your town church. And while he was shutting down the country, you had people like AOC who agreed with locking down New York, go to Florida mask-free, toes in the sand, with whatever dude she was with at the time. People like Speaker Pelosi go to a salon after completely shutting down California. Gavin Newsom having dinner with a bunch of people at a restaurant that's supposed to be door shut, but they didn't apply to him. Multiple Democrats who demonised anybody that questioned it were doing the right thing, were doing the very thing that they stopped American people from doing, which was living normal effing lives. And to top it all off, Dr. Anthony Fauci got to enjoy completely empty baseball stadiums while soaking in all of the glory that mainstream media was giving this piece of shit man. You had a tattletale hotline for people who decided to live everyday lives and have people over. By the way, to the people that actually use the hotline, you have to be some of the biggest pussies on the face of the earth. You bloody morons. People dobbing other people in for having people over. That includes in Australia because that's what was happening here too. Yeah, Nick Sautor said Senator Bernie Moreno tripped up Dr. Fauci by asking Fauci what the Fifth Amendment says, causing Fauci's attorneys to intervene. He pled the Fifth 111 times. Moreno, Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say? He pleads the Fifth to that as well. Okay, let's have a listen. I've got to turn this on first so you guys can hear it. Okay, let's have a listen.
Mr. Fauci, do you know who David Schertler is?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
No, I'm just asking you what it says.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
I'm going to give the Constitution to my aide. He'll bring it over to you so you can have it for future reference. I think it's something that every American should know what the Constitution says. Do you know who wrote the Fifth Amendment?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
So you're invoking a right that you don't know who wrote it or what it says. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow.
Nothing says I'm guilty more than that.
Mr. Fauci.
Pleading the Fifth on the Fifth? On what it means? Come on, man. The Vigilant Fox said new Joe Rogan says Fauci's pardon could actually backfire on him. He's pre-pardoned federally, but he's not pre-pardoned state-wise. These states can still sue him. Not only that, when you're pardoned, you can no longer plead the Fifth, so you could be held for perjury, and so he should be. With a federal pardon in place, yeah, that pardon, I don't know, Biden's auto pen, that should be thrown out too. Then again, because that's happened, he can't really plead the Fifth, so otherwise he can be held for perjury. So it's backfired on them. With a federal pardon in place, this means Fauci would be forced to testify without Fifth Amendment protection, opening the door to perjury charges if he gets caught lying. So the very pardon meant to shield Fauci could actually become his legal trap. Let's see which prosecutors have the courage to hold him accountable. I would love to see that. I would love to see. Yeah, we haven't seen Alex for a few weeks. I know. We miss her. God love her. But she's working, so we've got to be understanding. It's not easy. How you going, Stuart? Who else we got? Margot, how you going? Sun Tzu Media, how you going, guys? Okay, Nat said Piers Morgan pretending to suddenly realise in late July 2026 that Fauci is, and always was, an utter fraud is peak mockery. None of us will ever forget this, not as long as we live. It wasn't Fauci who said it, it was Piers Morgan to his 8.9 million followers. Piers Morgan said, love the idea of COVID vaccine passports for everywhere, flights, restaurants, clubs, football, gyms, shops, etc. It's time COVID-denying anti-vaxxer loonies had their bullshit bluff called and bar themselves from going anywhere that responsible citizens go. Really? You call yourself responsible? Need I say more? Look where we are now. Katie Hopkins. I love Katie Hopkins. How's your day, Piers Morgan, you sanctimonious shit goblin? Still on your knees gobbling Fauci cock? Sorry, but I'm being rude because that's what it says. Piers Morgan says Americans need to listen to Dr. Fauci, not their president, or many more will die than necessary. There's Piers. Yep. Okay. Just for people who don't know, in case people don't know, but I'm pretty sure that I'm preaching to the choir here. I think you guys all know. Rick Adante, PhD, said during Fauci's reign of terror, they scrubbed and hid this video from the internet. It's Nobel Prize winner Kary Mullis, inventor of the PCR, saying Fauci is a fraud. I taught it to my college students mid-pandemic. Thanks to Elon Musk for buying X, we can now see it. Do you want to hear this? Okay, let's have a listen to the inventor of the PCR.
What is it? What is it about humanity that wants to go to all the details and stuff and listen? You know, these guys like Fauci get up there and start talking. You know, he doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine. He should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on the bottom.
Pencil pushers.
Those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people who pay his salary and lie directly into the camera. You can't expect the sheep to really respect the best and the brightest. They don't know the difference, really. I mean, I like humans. Don't get me wrong, but basically, the vast majority of them do not possess the ability to judge who is and who isn't a really good scientist. I mean, that's a problem. That's a main problem, actually, with science, I'd say, in this century, because science is being judged by people. Funding is being done by people who don't understand it. Okay, Who do we trust? Fauci. Fauci doesn't know enough to, If Fauci wants to get on television with somebody who knows a little bit about this stuff and debate him, he could easily do it, because he's been asked. I mean, I've had a lot of people, president of the University of South Carolina asked Fauci if he'd come down there and debate me on the stage in front of the student body, because I wanted somebody who was from the other side to come down there and balance because I felt like, well, these guys can listen to me, but I need to have somebody else down here that's going to tell me the other side. But Fauci didn't want to do it.
It wasn't just that. This guy had said, and he died not long after, he had said that the PCR tests are not meant to find viruses. Okay. Hey, Adam, how you doing? And Hunt, how you going? C3 said, does everything make sense now? Ivermectin is $20 a course. Hydroxychloroquine is $12 a course. Remdesivir, whatever it's called, is $3,000 a course, because that's what Fauci was pushing, okay? Anthony Fauci and Big Pharma profit by any means necessary, evil. And I'd be surprised if actually Fauci wasn't at the bottom of his class and never became a real doctor, but became a government pen pusher from day one. Hey, Renee, how you doing? And Sherry and Leslie. Okay. Yeah, so I do believe that a lot of our experts that they put forward on our TVs have probably not even practiced in the field that they're in, have not worked in the field that they're in, are just plain pencil pushers, and that's why we see our country's falling apart right now. Rupert Lowe MP said Fauci is a disgrace. The lockdown damage he caused reaches well outside of American borders, all the way to Britain and far beyond. Yep, all the way to Australia, all the way to everywhere. Josh Hawley said Joe Biden gave Fauci immunity, which means Fauci can't invoke the Fifth Amendment in front of Congress. Innocent people don't hide behind the Fifth Amendment. Fauci invoked it 111 times. He's guilty and needs to be held in contempt. And I wish they'd either hold him for perjury or contempt, one of the two. Can someone please lock the man up? All he cared about was being famous and these stars that were, stroking his ego. Bridget Fertig said 30 years ago Dr. Robert Wilner accused Dr. Anthony Fauci of genocide, stating Anthony Fauci's AZT drug, which was heavily promoted and fast-tracked under Fauci's influence for AIDS treatment in the late 1980s, was highly toxic and actually killed many patients rather than helping them. And I guarantee you they would have said no, they died from AIDS. He claimed AZT caused severe side effects and deaths amounting to mass harm enabled by Fauci and federal health authorities, and called out the media for protecting Dr. Fauci. I think Hitler would envy the job being done by members of the National Institute of Health and even the media in this country. And this was 30, how many years ago? Yep, 40. I'll put the light of the individuals of the NIH, Gallo, Fauci, Hazeltine, Essex, and the rest of these scoundrels of the worst order guilty of genocide. They've been putting out killer drug knowingly. 30 years later, we watch a media owned by Big Pharma protect Anthony Fauci once again, as history clearly repeated itself. And if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it. Emerald Robinson said, Fauci did not act alone. Barrick, Daszak, Birx, Pence, Event 201. The intelligence agencies helped them at every step. That wouldn't surprise me. Craig Kelly, here in Australia, Fauci admitted in his own diary that COVID was nothing more than the flu. I wonder if I'll now get an apology from the ABC for their attacks upon me for telling the truth, that the death rate from COVID was being wildly exaggerated. Yeah, I got deleted for it for 5 years. Thank you very much. Meshi said, Australia, our elections. The Australian Electoral Commission has been a member of a web association of world election bodies based in South Korea since 2013, the year the organisation was founded. AWeb is linked to over 109 countries, including South Korea, the US, Canada, Brazil, Iraq, and Australia, and it's connected to USAID. There are allegations that AWeb is involved in global military and intelligence regime change operations designed to steal elections and seize power. Now, does it make sense? Does the voting make sense now? These operations allegedly involved intelligence agencies tied to deep state globalists, corrupt officials, foreign governments, groups such as Antifa, left-wing billionaires like George Soros, NGOs, USAID, and others. They run regime change and colour revolution operations across multiple countries. They infiltrate society at every level, institutions, community, media, and youth to push propaganda, stage protests and riots, and run election fraud operations. Don't forget the WEF. The AEC is also a founding partner in the Bridge program alongside UNDP, UNEAD, IFES, and International IDEA, a UN-linked international capacity building network. That does sound like the WEF as well. They're young global leaders and young global shapers. In other words, Xi Jinping coordinates operations by the Chinese Communist Party and the Democrat Communist Party to overthrow governments around the world, including Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and others.
In 2021, the Special Operations Command under Mark Miller.
Sorry, I didn't think that was a video. I thought it was a picture. I was trying to look at the picture. Australian Electoral Commission, EMB information, date of establishment, February 21, 1984. Number of executives at EMB, 17. The main functions, conducting successful electoral events, including federal elections, by-elections and referendums, and industrial and commercial elections. Ensuring confidence in the electoral roll. Yeah, right. Administering political party registrations and financial disclosure. Supporting electoral redistributions. Undertaking public awareness activities. Yeah, I'm sure they are. There's your Antifa, the public awareness. Supporting electoral redistributions, mail-in ballots, I don't know. They don't disclose much financially. Ensuring confidence in the electoral roll. It's actually the opposite. Okay, Steve said they lied to you about Pizzagate, the Ukraine war, Elon Musk, COVID-19, Hunter Biden's laptop. Climate change, vaccines and masks being safe and effective, Ukraine biolabs, Antifa and BLM riots leading up to the 2020 election, the southern border and human trafficking, NATO, the global war on terror, Hillary's emails, Russian collusion, January 6, Chinese spy balloons, infrastructure hacking, solar flares, your food, your water, Fast and Furious, Doge, election fraud, leering centres. Yeah. Rampant taxpayer fraud, the CIA, FBI interfering and spying on all your social media, investing on Wall Street, 15-minute cities and the Patriot Act. There's so much more, and they will continue to lie. Who the hell is being held accountable for this? We are pissed. You're not the only ones. Hey, going menacing. Cat Turd said he's been saying this since the beginning. Eric Matheny said, has COVID ever been in the news? Had COVID never been in the news, you wouldn't have even known it was here. It was nothing more than a flu. And I'll show you something, actually. Where is, I'm just going to go to my profile and show you. This is from 2022, 8th of February. If this were real, this is what you'd be wearing, but with oxygen tanks as well. Okay, that's what it is. If it was real, this is what you'd be wearing. This is PPE, not silly masks that I can blow smoke through, by the way. If smoke particles can get through it, a virus which is much smaller than smoke particles is definitely going to get through it. They would have that. They'd have more than this, actually, but pretty much that's how it would be, okay? If it were real. Okay, sorry, look away if you get motion sickness. We'll get there in a sec. Okay, we're nearly there. Okay, Department of War CTO said the enemy will vanish. Oh, can't wait. I think we're going to see justice, guys. I do think so. The deep state will be no more. And you know what? You know how I've been saying that, Erica Kirk, the acting wasn't that good and that. But if you think about it, and Q said we're watching a movie, then Erica Kirk's demeanour makes sense. The whole thing makes sense, really. Okay, we're being shown. Everything's being exposed. We're being shown. It might be an act, but we're still being shown exactly how it is. The permaculture guy said, I'll say again, forests do not catch fire because it's a bit hotter than usual. No, they don't. No, they don't. There's someone starting these, I swear to God, and they're going to blame lightning. They're going to blame anything but what is actually going on, which I think a lot of the climate crazies are lighting the fires. They want you to believe. They want you to believe. So they'll try their hardest, even killing people. They aren't beyond that. Okay, the White House said America's building cars again. The auto industry is back. American jobs, American cars. Can I buy an American car? Get the steering wheel switched, obviously. Everything's switched over, but yeah, they're built to last. Courtney said, breaking, the first woman to lead the International Olympic Committee has decided to ban transgender women from women's events at the Olympics. Well done. X22 reports said from the very beginning they fell into Trump's trap. The funding's being cut. The shadow government's being exposed. The propaganda machine is losing control. The deep state never realised it was walking into the largest sting operation in history. And we see that. We can see that. Hey, Water, how you doing? Okay, this one. Okay. See if you can see what I see. I'm not going to say anything. Tommy Robinson said, I wear the hijab because the Quran says it helps us be recognised as respectable and protects us from the unwanted attention and or harassment from men. If your men have no self-control, then they probably should be locked up. Oh, do you see what I see? Please tell me you see what I see. Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, Spain's going off right now. I'll have to have that news for tomorrow. But I don't know. I don't know. This just to me, I don't know. It doesn't look like. Okay. Okay.
عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله.
Okay.
نعم.
Speaking in their own language, I can't understand. Okay. Thank you very much. But even sounds, yes, exactly, Leslie. A moustache sounds very, very deep. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I was thinking, as soon as I looked at it, I'm thinking, it doesn't look like a woman, man. I'm just having a drink of water. Sorry, guys. Yorkshire lass said the normies better buckle up because shit's about to hit the fan on COVID-19. Oh. It's about to be severely exposed. Okay, what we've seen for, up to now, I believe, is soft disclosure. Disclosure. What we're going to see from here, it's going to pick up speed, okay? So the Fauci thing, and then it's going to lead to Bill Gates. It's going to lead deeper than that. Then you got all the stars that were spruiking all the same sayings. Go and get your shots, wear your masks. Which hopefully it'll expose more of them. Okay, Aaron Siri says, 4 mistakes Fauci made while pleading the fifth today. Once a witness opens the door to a topic, the witness cannot then plead the fifth with regard to that topic. And Fauci's opening statement opened many doors widely, including when he claimed he had a decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, including during and after COVID pandemic when he appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House. That puts the question of whether he properly cooperated when responding to questions, including prior questions from Senator Paul, in all of those hearings directly at issue. Here are a few of his statements, though, which he opened the door broadly. I served at the NIH for over 54 years, 38 of those as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And we've got more allergies and infectious diseases than ever. Over that period, I proved that I believed in and respect the value of legitimate congressional oversight. In fact, I testified before and/or briefed Senate and House committees well over 200 times over those 38 years. During and after the COVID pandemic, yeah, right, I've appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath, and sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews, answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he's calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, behind bars. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. No, I don't think so, mate. Therefore, although it pains me to do so because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Number 2, the Fifth Amendment can only be used when answering a question which would present real and appreciable danger. Thus, his use of the Fifth during the hearing for questions that clearly don't meet this standard, including about the colour of his tie and what day of the week it is, reflects on its improper use during the hearing overall. He needs to be held in contempt severely. Since invoking the Fifth as question-specific, announcing before even hearing the questions that he would refrain from answering the committee's questions under the Fifth itself was improper. Finally, ignoring the broad presidential pardon he received, as if it doesn't exist, because it doesn't, including for questions that would clearly fall within the parameters of that incredibly broad pardon, was a misstep that may come back to bite him later. I hope so. In this, they've obviously added Rand Paul, Ron Johnson, Josh Hawley, Bernie Moreno, and Senator Langford. Okay. back to Australia. Oh, Mark PG said, can you imagine the outrage from the left? If Sky News Australia had played a video with someone saying they would like to put a stick up Penny Wong's ass and stir up her guts, they would demand the station close down. But ABC, all you can hear from them is crickets, because that's what has been said on the ABC about Gina Rinehart. Okay, an Australian billionaire, I don't know, who's helped Pauline Hanson out. They said they would like to put a stick up, and stir up her guts. That is very disgusting, shameful, should never be said about anybody. Thank you very much. Retard Finder said Piers Morgan loved Fauci and pushed everything COVID. He's a massive retard and no amount of backtracking will change that. He even thought Dr. Fauci is such an impressive man. I don't know if he can get his tongue any further up there, but hey. Glenn Schaefer said the Origin Energy data breach. Okay, there's been an Origin Energy data breach. Oh, God love you.
At Shannon Spear 8,751 donated $2.99 through Super Chat. Hit the like button and throw have some shekels $.
Oh, God love you. You're a legend, Shannon. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, mate. Oh, yes, please hit the like button. Okay, in Australia, Origin Energy is one of our electricity suppliers. Their data breach is far worse than first thought. Just received an email declaring their investigation show the information accessed may include name, address, date of birth, phone number, the BSB and last 3 digits of a bank account, last 4 digits of a credit card, and details about your customer account with us. In identity theft terms, that's like winning the golden lottery. This means a new bank account and credit card will be the only safe way to mitigate this. Thanks, Origin Energy. I hope you face a massive class action lawsuit. You can count on MB, happy to assist you getting started. Wow. That is crazy. Dr. Malouf said Greece announced it will close 60 mosques throughout the country and deport those who continue to illegally build Islamic religious spaces. Greece is fighting against the Islamization of Europe. Greece is right. Go Greece. Look, I'm behind any country that's going to ban this, any Western nation. They've got enough countries they can go to, seriously. Paul Golding said the Irish are now burning down migrant centres that are under construction. There you go. What do they think's going to happen? Jack said, if you're a man and you're unable to control yourself unless a woman completely covers herself, stay away from women and children. Lock yourself away. You're the one with the problem. Yes, if you cannot control yourself, you need to be locked up. I reckon make asylums great again. I reckon it's a mental illness. The drunk Republican said, you know who wasn't allowed to plead the fifth? Everyone who was fired for not taking experimental vaccine, kids who dropped dead from heart attacks, the Beagles Fauci tortured and killed. I could go on, but the bottom line is there's an untouchable class in Washington that represents the biggest black pill of my generation. And until it's dismantled, this country will never return to its full potential. And that's why he needs to be held accountable. Cat Turd said today, making me proud to be a pureblood. We were right again. Yeah, I feel sorry because my whole family got them. And I feel sorry for people who fell for it. That's why I blame the media. The media, without the media, we wouldn't have even known. So I blame the media first and foremost, then health experts and politicians, obviously. Not to mention the WEF, the UN, the WHO, a lot of them. Oh, it's going to go to the WHO. Okay. Fauci, this is going to go through the WHO, the World Health Organization, because they didn't get it right either, did they? This is going to go deep. Okay. Alexandra Marshall said Sherry Markson, who is a Sky News Australia presenter, who should never be forgotten for disgraceful comments about unvaccinated Australians, but she's pretending to be right-leaning, disgraced herself again last night While acknowledging Malcolm Roberts wrote a piece in The Spectator Australia telling the media off for posting lies about his position, deceptively edited interviews and reputation-damaging content, including trying to damage him by association. That's what Sky News Australia are doing. The panel on Marks and Show went on and repeated those falsehoods again. I'd like to point out that if Sky itself posted edited interviews that started the chemtrail slur against Malcolm, that never should have gone to air because they excluded his denial and they stitched together a comment on chemtrails and cloud seeding. Dave Sharma starts by saying he hasn't read the article and then goes on to give another answer full of false and misleading statements about a senator. What the Sharma, you call yourself a sensible and trustworthy elected representative and you can't do the bare minimum in fact-checking before going on TV? He needs to be held accountable for what? Media fabrications? That was someone who did disagree with the proposition that the Bondi terrorist attack was staged or a false flag. He did disagree. Why are you continuing this fake news and misinformation? It's even in the article, which you didn't read. I don't think I've heard anyone, even the Greens members of Parliament, allege something like that. That's because he didn't. You are literally fabricating and escalating something that was, effectively, someone on the street saying something crazy to a senator and a senator trying to get away from that person. It's been completely forgotten by Sharma and others that it was never the senator who said it, it was a member of the public. His flirtation with some of these wilder theories, what theories? He doesn't believe in chemtrails, the false statement that started this all. No, but he has said he would look into it if he thought that there was something with it. Anyway, Dave Sharma, if you didn't read it, you clearly don't know know any of the facts. You shouldn't have gone on TV to repeat the claims. What he's saying is Malcolm Roberts believes in chemtrails and all this, okay? When he hasn't said that. Okay? You talk about trust. Why would anyone trust you if you don't even bother to do the slightest bit of research? Sounds like the only thing you did is read MSM headlines, then listen to your mates in the Liberal Party repeat false statements. That's because they're trying to pull one nation down. Sky News are now News 24 on YouTube, by the way. Sky News, or whatever they are now, should be made to apologise for this segment, and Shari should be the one to do it. She was the one who said it. Clandestine said Fauci refused to answer questions and invoked the Fifth Amendment 111 times. Is this the behaviour of an innocent man? He has a blanket pardon. What's he afraid of? Or is he afraid his auto-pen pardon won't hold? Is he protecting himself? Or is he protecting his co-conspirators? If Fauci actually cared about public health and science, wouldn't he do everything in his power to help us understand where he went wrong so we can't prevent it in the future? One thing's for certain, Fauci and the Obama-Biden admin know they've been caught and know they're being hunted. Hunters become the hunted. Hey, Alma, how you going? And Lancelot, good to see you guys. Lozzie B said new modern homes in Melbourne, Victoria. Indian builders are building and selling these disasters to unknowing victims. They are signed off by Indian building inspectors. I've toured some of these homes, and a friend and others I know have sadly purchased homes like this, and they have nothing but constant issues. Wait till you see the house. When they finally come out to repair issues, they only make the problems worse. I've never seen anything like it. There are entire estates of these nasty third world builds. Buyers beware. We used to have standards in Australia. Something has to be done now. Now, watch this. Hang on. I'm going to make it big. I'm going to turn the sound off. Oops. Oh. Now watch this. What the hell's that? Oh, they've stuck a camera up there with, looks like sticky tape. Now watch this workmanship.
At Menacing Muskrat U9M donated 10 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. Sending have some shekels, Shannon.
Oh, God love you, Menacing. Thank you. You're a legend, mate. But look at the shoddy workmanship. Look how bad that is. These are Indians building houses here in Australia now. This is what happens when you take India's schooling, education, as it's just the same as Australia. Well, it's not. Look, it looks like sticky taped houses, man. What are they doing? Actually, let's have a bit of volume.
Foam. Not evil, foam. These are the guys that the Building and Plumbing Commission have to stop. They have to stop this madness. Bro, guys, what is going on here, guys? For real, I feel like this house is gonna fall down, mate. I'm so scared, guys. Oh my God. Have a look at the waterproofing, mate. Have a look what's going on. They're plastering with their hands, mate. And how about the bathtub? I mean, come on. Check out the support. That's a beauty. What about the membrane here, guys? Have a look at that transition. Have a look at that transition. Beauty. Oh, look, a vanity. It's ready to be installed, guys. I don't know where they got it from. My God, what is going on here, guys? Now, look, this is the master. Guys, have a look at this bracket right there in your bedroom. Oh my God, have a look. What a beauty. Does it stand? I don't know. I don't know. If Bora was here, check out the waterproofing. So far, so bad. Guys, I feel like I'm in one of those, really bad videos, where they waterproof with their bare hands. That's what it looks like. Have a look. With their bare hands, mate. Have a look. How can you waterproof on a substrate like this? Fully non-compliant. They've installed the doors. What the hell is this door? I bet you they found it somewhere. Have a look. It's an old door.
It's an old sliding door. You can tell by the handle. It's not an open-shut door. It's a sliding door.
They've installed it. Look, guys. An old door. I don't know if it's temporary. Why would you put it on right now? I don't get it, man. Now, let's check out the he-ball at the back. This is the backyard here, guys. Have a look.
This guy's Rizza, or whatever his name is. He's on YouTube. He goes over home builds in Australia. Okay, so I won't show all of that because I'll end up getting copyright, but they're doing really bad job, man. Because Australia is now accepting their educational standards here in our country. Okay, this is what our government's doing, and they're lowered standards than Australians have. Much lower. Ben Robson said, for those of you who are just starting to learn about the Fabian Society, here's a list of known members and or strong associates who held prominent roles within Australian governments. Gough Whitlam, Bob Hawke, Paul Keating, Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, Anthony Albanese, Bill Hayden, Simon Crean, Bill Shorten, Wayne Swan, Penny Wong, Tanya Plibersek, Chris Bowen, John Faulkner, Andrew Lee, Neville Wran, John Cain, Don Dunstan, John Bannon, Bob Carr, Jeff Gallup, Luke Foley, John Lenders, Jenny McAllister, Claire Moore, Stephen Jones and Tim Watts. When Australia is run by the ALP, then Australia is run by the Fabian Society. Yeah, shit. Exactly, Deb. It's a sliding door. You can tell by the handle. It doesn't even have a handle. It has like a nook where you put your hand in just to slide the door open, Peter Lyndon James. Oh, here's another. This guy, if you're not following him, I actually should. One man, 22 seats, and the union is the landlord. I want to show you how one industry's money actually works through one man's diary. His name is Earl Setches. He's been federal and Victorian Secretary of the Plumbers Union since 2001. Nothing here is hidden. Every fact comes from documents the institutions publish themselves. That's the point. CBUS, the $105 billion construction super fund, publishes a conflicts register because the regulator requires it. As at 6 of June 2026, it lists Mr. Setches holding more than 20 concurrent positions. He's holding 20 concurrent positions. At the same time, he's doing 20 jobs. Director of PICAC, the industry's training centre, chair of the Plumbing Joint Train Fund, the Union's Education Centre and Indigenous Plumbing Foundation, director of IncoLink, the $1 billion redundancy fund, CBUS board and its property companies, the industry's entitlement fund, its income protection company, 3 investment companies, and a seat on the Plumbing Special Advisory Panel of the Building and Plumbing Commission. The state's building and plumbing regulator appointed. The regulator's own website explains by the Commissioner in consultation with the Minister for Housing and Building. Now follow the money between those seats using the organisation's own audited accounts, IncoLink, where he's a director, paid PICAC, where he's a director, a service grant of $8.17 million last financial year, more than half of PICAC's entire income. And here's what his own union accounts signed by him this June revealed. PICAC pays the union rent, $673,797 last year. The union owns the building, so the redundancy fund he helps direct funds the training centre he sits on, which pays rent to the union he runs, which is the landlord. Governments have granted that training centre more than $49 million, and in 12 months to March 2025, the run-up to the federal election, is Victorian branch's donations to political parties jumped from $2,000 to $219,000. Its own signed disclosure says so. What about him personally? His board seats generated $286,320 in fees last year, every dollar paid to the union, not to him. Across the branch's officials, board fees passed to the union hit $437,919. His salary is $285,269. The seats bring in roughly what he costs. So let me be precise. No regulator, no inquiry, no court has made any adverse findings against Mr. Setchers. The fees to union arrangement is the clean version of a standard practice. Every role is disclosed because the rules require it. The employer associations sit on most of these boards too. All of it is lawful. That's exactly why I'm showing you one official with a seat at every point a dollar passes through. The fund that pays, the centre that receives, the union that collects the rent, the panel that advises the regulator, and the system's answer is a register that records it and permits it. The question isn't whether he broke a rule, it's who designed rules where this needs no breaking. Cold hard facts corrected when wrong. What's your thoughts? Peter Lyndon James. I think our government is so corrupt it's not funny. This guy is getting paid for doing 20 jobs. Bro said, just remember, there's vastly more of us than there is of them. If you want to tell someone to piss off back to their own country, do it. This is your country, because now our government trying to make it illegal to tell people to piss off back to your own country. That's an Australian saying since I got here. They don't even have enough judges and jails to lock us all up. Wish more people would realise that. Peter Sweden said a Norwegian woman was murdered yesterday. The suspect is a man from Afghanistan. He was ordered deported already in 2021 after a court conviction. However, his deportation was stopped by authorities on humanitarian grounds. He got to stay in Norway. Now a woman's dead. These judges also, the whole system needs a rehaul. Okay, Steve Biddle said Australians must look at the price of Cadbury chocolate in New Zealand, and it's very rarely ever above $4, and wonder why they need to pay $8 per block in Australia. $2.69 for a block of Cadbury chocolate in New Zealand. We pay $8 over here in Australia. Yep, it's ridiculous. Lozzie B said we can have rights and freedoms, or we can have multiculturalism. The government has shown that both cannot coexist, as our freedoms are offensive to third world migrants. A Pakistani woman racially abuses white Aussies, our nation, our way of life, then cries victim when a woman says, if you aren't happy, pack your bags and leave, which is what Pauline Hanson said to her. The Muslim migrant then drags her through the courts and sues her. This is unacceptable. Our laws, our system need to change as it's being abused, which we know. This is the one who said to... Now she said that Pauline Hanson doesn't belong in Australia. That's what she has said now. And all Pauline said was, go back to your own country. Pack your bags and go. Yorkshire lass said, holy shit, Rupert Lowe says that Restore Britain will hold Chris Whitty to account over COVID, same as what's happening to Fauci in the US. Get ready for the dominoes to fall. Yes, I believe it's going to happen in the UK and Australia around the same time it happens over there in America. Because once they pull Fauci, that little string, then the whole thing's going to unravel. Donald J. Trump said we're doing this we're going to bring this heroic young man and his family into the White House with perhaps the boy he saved to give him a high civilian honor. Very brave. He deserves it, President Donald Trump. Eric Trump said, give this 16-year-old lifeguard the highest civilian honor. This is truly the best of America. Well done. Watch this. Okay. Young lifeguard, right? Pulling a young boy. Trying to help him out. Young boy or girl? Now that's a very strong current. You can see how strong that current is. Go again, guys. Ready? Duck, duck. Duck, duck, go. Shit. Yep, young boy. You can really just see how strong that current is, can't you? Yeah, I don't see why parents would let their kids go into that ocean looking like that, because you can tell. Look at the strong current. You can see it. Or maybe it's just me living in Australia and know the beaches and that, and you know when there's a strong current, you can see it. They got him out in the end. Anyway, Donald Trump wants to give him a high civilian honor. I would agree with that. Mike Bale said Jews don't eat bacon, but they don't try and ban it for others. Mormons don't drink coffee, but they don't try and ban it for others. The Amish don't use electricity, but they don't try and shut down power plants. Islamism wants to force everyone to live under Sharia law. Religions are not the same. Clandestine said, why was Fauci pardoned for any offences against the United States which he may have committed or taken part in, beginning January 1st, 2014? That's precisely when Fauci and the Obama administration offshored US gain-of-function research to black sites like Ukraine. Hunter was pardoned beginning the exact same day, January 1st, 2014, just before Meta Biota received a massive DoD contract for operations in Ukraine. Hunter Biden was the bagman or proxy for Obama Biden's corrupt dealings in Ukraine, to include their nefarious biological activity at Meta Biota. All of this made possible right after the maiden coup, regime change in Ukraine in early 2014, and the beginning of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea. Fauci and the Biden administration admitted their guilt when they issued these pardons. They know they've been caught, and they tried to cover their tracks. Whatever they were doing in Ukraine, it's what they fear the most, and all signs seem to point to Meta Biota. Ooh, then this is going to uncover a whole lot then. Yep, Lancelot, I agree. Tech is the root of all ruin. AI mainly. Gunther Eagleman said, if Fauci goes to prison and Ilhan Omar is deported, I might just slightly believe in justice again. Let's hope it happens. Okay, Francie Nancy said the Australian Federal Police have charged a 39-year-old Darwin woman for allegedly abusing her role as a public servant to facilitate corruption involving millions of dollars in NDIS funding. Investigators from the Fraud Fusion Task Force allege she used her position to refer vulnerable members of the community to an NDIS business she co-owned. And that's what's happening all over the place. See, things are happening in the background that we don't see all the time. So the Australian Federal Police have arrested someone. Granted, it's only one person that we know of, for the NDIS fraud scam. It is happening. It will happen. Never fear. Prue McSween said one-trick pony, Julia Gillard playing the title misogyny card. She does it everywhere she goes. Claiming Jacinta Allen is a victim. For a start, Gillard can't even define what a woman is. What the hell would she know about misogyny? These two sad Sheilas are a breathing example of incompetence elevated to positions beyond them. Inept, destructive, incapable, delusional, dangerous. How's gender quotas working for you, everyone? No, thank you. I would much prefer to have merit over DEI, which people have changed some of those letters around. It's die. Can you imagine, right? DEI. You have the best surgeon, right? And then you have someone who just passed, and everyone has to pass, so they've just passed. But because of DEI, they're your doctor instead of the best surgeon. Do you want that? I don't. Okay. Dr. Malouf said, remember all Muslim countries in the Middle East were once Christian. When Muslims invaded them, they killed the men, raped the women, and enslaved the children. That's how those countries became Islamic. And that's exactly what they're trying to do in Europe and America now, and they are. When they invade, they kill the men, they rape the women, and they enslave the children. It's exactly what they do. Oh, dear God. Okay, Jacinta Allen, the Victoria Premier, has resigned this week. Retard Finder said the new Premier of Victoria, Ben Carroll. They are so screwed. Oh, dear. This is Ben Carroll, obviously. I don't know who this is or what. What? Yeah, exactly. Senator Babbitt said political correctness is mind control through language. Watch how the trick works. Illegal immigrant. You hear someone who broke into your country? Undocumented migrant. Sounds like a harmless paperwork error. Again, minor attracted person sounds like a clinical condition. But a pedophile, you recognise the threat immediately. Again, gender-affirming care sounds compassionate. We're just providing care. 2, perverts, men entering women's toilets, vulnerable children being medicalised, and you see what's actually happening. Control the language and you control the boundaries of thought. If you cannot speak freely, you cannot think clearly. They are manipulating you through words. Do you understand? I'm sure most of us do. Yeah, Ben Carroll and wife, maybe. Yeah, Leslie. Okay, Elon Musk said John Cleese has all too rare common sense. John Cleese said, I see I'm being ritually insulted for my support of this man. The uneducated call me racist. I'm not a racist. I'm a culturalist. I believe that some cultures are better than others. I prefer cultures who do not advocate stoning, pederasty, wife-beating, female genital mutilation, and beheading opponents. Call me old-fashioned. British unapologetically said, be honest. If Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain contested the next general election, would they have your vote? Restore Britain. Ah, very interesting. Yep, and John Cleese is supporting him, so now he's being called a racist. I don't see how... Look, these words mean nothing anymore. You can call people racists, bigots, whatever you want, as much as you want. Has no effect anymore. They've used it so much that none of us care anymore. Katie said the federal court rejects Pauline Hanson's appeal. Telling someone to go back to where he came from is now the ultimate racist slur here in Australia. Never mind standing in Parliament and ranting, you white people, which this woman does, free speech in this country for some, but not for others. Yeah, she's a Muslim and she needs to go back to the country she came from. I don't think she'd be in Parliament over there at all. I don't think they'd let her. And she'd have to wear the hijab or a hijab or whatever, niqab or whatever the bloody thing is. Pauline Hanson said, I'm disappointed that the federal court has rejected my appeal relating to the claim against me by the Green senator, this thing here. My legal team and I will now closely review the decision in the coming days with a view to commencing an appeal in the High Court of Australia. Keep going, Pauline. Public discussion in Australia has become almost totally silenced by laws and rules which prevent ordinary people expressing their personal views. In case some small part of our society takes some sort of offence or feels hurt or distressed. This has never been, nor ever should be, the Australian way. I got called all sorts of things, mate. Wow. Oh. We all need to have the courage and the freedom to say what we think on issues that are important to all of us. Some of those views may not be what certain people would like to hear, but that doesn't mean they're not valid views. And it certainly doesn't mean that people should be prevented from having a voice on topics which are critical to our country's future. I was incensed by the incredible disrespect that I felt was shown to our late Queen on the day of her death by Senator Faruqi and others. I simply wanted to call that out. For me, respect for our institutions of government, for our collective moral compass, and for the principles, including respect for our head of state, which together have shaped this wonderful nation, are vital attributes which all Australians should embrace. If people in Australia are scared or forbidden to freely express themselves, then those values are eroded. I'm here to fight for all Australians to ensure that such a dark day never comes. I sincerely thank all those who continue to support me through this legal process. And the last, I think it's... No, we'll go a few more times. The Vigilant Fox said Blumenthal, Fauci's attorney's been gagged, thrown out of the hearing room. Mistakes should certainly be addressed, but not in a show trial. That was Blumenthal. Paul said, I'm in no courtroom in America. Can you have your witness plead the Fifth Amendment, then your attorney gets to testify? That's what that letter is. The attorney's complaining and testifying, saying he didn't do it. The prosecution's unfair. You don't get to do that. That's one thing you give up when you take the Fifth Amendment. You say, I'm not going to testify. I'm not going to give you any information. You don't then get to put your lawyer forward to justify it. He can do it in the press, but you can't come and testify. Fauci's lawyer was not invited to testify, and he was out of order, and it was appropriate to have him ejected. Wow, really? Oh, my God. Nick Sautor said breaking Rand Paul announces the committee will be voting to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress after Fauci invokes the Fifth over 80 times, which was 111 actually. This carries up to a year of prison time. Paul argues that Fauci does not have a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, as Biden's auto pen pardon protects him. Therefore, Fauci can be compelled to answer questions. Paul said, my question was limited to the period of your pardon only. I find your objection unsupported and direct you to answer the question. Fauci pleads the Fifth. Paul, because you refused to answer, citing a privilege unsupported because of your pardon and after being denied to do so, this committee is scheduled to vote next week on a resolution certifying your contempt. Let's hear it. Overton, the final 90 seconds of Senator Josh Hawley's questioning of Anthony Fauci is pure cinema. Ooh, okay, let's have a... Well, I'll let him say it.
Yeah, well, silence is admission. And here's the real thing. At the end of the day, it wasn't just about the money, really, was it? It was really about a power trip. I mean, through all of this, you want to be the most famous scientist in the world. You were so focused on getting every award and every drop of cash that you could, all because you wanted to be on TV. You wanted to be the sun god of science. You wanted to be the guy who was in charge of it all. You wanted to lambaste Trump. You wanted to make sure that nobody else stole your spotlight. You wanted to be the guy. You had time to sit for InStyle magazine. Here's what you were doing with your time. You could sit for InStyle magazine, but you can't answer questions for the American people. You could sit for InStyle magazine, but you're here taking the Fifth. You could sit for InStyle magazine and get $1 million in cash awards, but now the cat's got your tongue. I bet he does. I tell you what, here's my conclusion from all of this. This was really all about you the whole time. Somewhere along the way, you lost your way. You may have been a good public servant at one time. I don't know. But what I can tell you from reading your emails now, from looking at what you did, how you used your employees, somewhere along the line, it became all about you. You became a narcissist and a megalomaniac and a liar. And you've lied to the American people, and you've lied to this body. And you've disgraced your profession by doing it. You called yourself the most famous scientist in the world. You've done more to harm science than anybody in my lifetime. And I hope you'll go home and write that in your diary.
Yep. Well said, Josh. Oh, and Bill Oddie died. Thanks for the laughs. R.I.P. Bill Oddie. I don't think there was a Gen X kid in the Western world who didn't watch the goodies. Oh, they were so funny. God love them. Lara Logan said fraud, treason, mass murder, crimes against humanity. Liz Churchill said they literally overthrew the United States government. This dynamic duo privately shred records, hype death rates, and chase cameras while the world burn. Arrest them both. And we're all waiting for it, believe me. Oh, and Mamdani? Mayor Mamdani just announced he'll be opening 5 city-run tax-funded grocery stores, priced set at 30% below retail prices. Want to see how that works out. C3 said never forget Anthony Fauci made remdesivir and ventilators hospital protocol even though they were killing patients. Deborah Birx lied to POTUS Trump, manipulated data about guidelines, lockdowns and vaccines. Pure evil. They must pay no mercy. Show no mercy. Okay, Gunther Eagleman said ICE has killed 5 Americans in self-defense. Illegal immigrants have killed 1,713 Americans. Guess which one Democrats have a problem with? ICE. Okay, Matt Van Swal said breaking an insane story is unfolding in Troy, New York, where a mayor who overrode her own city council's vote to end their flock camera contract by declaring a public emergency is now fuming after citizens begin cutting down the cameras. The female mayor said that cutting down the cameras was an act of violence and is begging the public to help identify who did it. Anyone who dobs them in should look at themselves very carefully. This is Troy, New York. Troy's own city council, the elected representatives of the people, voted to stop the flock contract over privacy concerns. They ordered the funding withheld. So what did the mayor do? She literally declared a public emergency to keep the surveillance cameras running anyway. So just to be clear, the people's representatives said end flock cams. The mayor forced them to stay up by declaring an emergency. She's now being sued by her own city council over it. The council is so alarmed they're trying to strip her power and declare emergencies at all. And when frustrated citizens finally took a few of those cameras down themselves, the mayor called that violence. One of the wildest stories I've ever seen. Oh, my God. That's crazy. Yeah, I wish someone would do it in Australia. Okay, Eric Doherty said awesome. Senator Eric Schmidt dropped this nuke straight on the Senate Democrats' faces. America is not a global refugee camp. America is not a get-rich-quick scheme for the third world. America is our home. And when a house guest becomes squatters, you don't delay enforcement, you call the sheriff and send them home. I have the power to stop this nonsense bill and I'm going to use it. That's why I'm here today. So I object to the bill, which would keep 350,000 Haitians here permanently. I object to changing temporary to permanent. I object to flooding American communities with cheap foreign labour. I object to treating foreigners as the priority and Americans as the afterthought. I object to mass migration. Temporary must mean temporary, and elections have consequences. Mic drop. And Storm News, it's still going. Oh, my goodness. Breaking, Tom Homan says DOJ has seemed to have identified those who leaked the details of ICE raids and they originated from the FBI. Homan says they will lose their job, their pension, they're going to go to jail, charge them with treason. Can't wait to see that one too. And the last couple of weeks, this surprised me, Nikita Pierre said, in the last couple of weeks, X has been joined by Mark Zuckerberg, Jensen Huang, Denny's, and Bernard Arnault. Welcome to the global town square. Right? They said welcome, and we should see everyone's comments. Mark should piss off back to his censorship-loving fascist book. Why are you welcoming traitor FNKD Zuckerberg after all he's done to destroy us? Oh, dear. When the algorithm becomes the enemy of good. Warren Buffett trying to join X. Okay, anyway, they've joined X because their own sites don't have enough truth on them. The White House said John Thune should not have allowed the United States Senate to leave town until it passes. I haven't already done that. Until it passes the Save America Act, or far better, terminates the filibuster from Donald J. Trump. I think that's old news now. American AF, Justine Cracker Barrel's woke CEO Julie Fels-Messino is stepping down after completely destroying the company. Oh my God, how much more do we have to put up with? Okay. Man tries to walk through with an American flag. He gets harassed. Revealed a lot of people. Here are the mainstream journalists on China's payroll. I recently exclusively uncovered the identities of prominent US journalists flown to China by CCP-linked influence operation, seeking favourable coverage and positive messages about Beijing. Their names include Ezra Klein, New York Times columnist, Matthew... Oh, I can't pronounce that. You can see anyway, okay? You can see all these names if you need to. We can read them. Lots and lots of people. I've got a sore bottom from sitting on a very hard chair. All these people, okay? All these people. We're waiting for the truthers now to be exposed as to who China is paying. I'd like to see that one. Okay. Lots of them. American journalists were taking on curated tours through China, including visits to Chinese military bases by the same network, seeking favourable coverage. Yep, okay, I don't need to know any more on that. The Vigilant Fox said, RFK Jr. explains why Fauci had such a problem with early treatments like ivermectin. Tony Fauci's problem is this. There's a little-known federal law that says you cannot give emergency use authorization to a vaccine if there's any medication approved for any purpose that is shown effective against the targeted disease. So if Tony Fauci or anyone had admitted that hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin were effective against COVID, it would have been illegal for them to give the emergency use authorization to the vaccines, and they could never have gotten them approved. And a $200 billion enterprise would have collapsed. And this is what I believe Trump was talking about when he was talking about vaccines. Ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, he even mentioned them. And then Anthony Fauci and all them said, no, they don't work, and had, remdesivir or whatever it is. And,
At Menacing Muskrat U9M donated 10 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. Shannon, let's try and get Hev a softer chair.
Oh, God love you, Menacing. Mate, you're a legend. Yeah, I've got a couple of, I've got a towel and I've got a cushion thing on it, but it's just hard as a rock. It's the only chair that'll fit in this room, though. That's the problem. It's the only chair that's going to fit in this room. Concerned citizen said, meanwhile in California, drone captures man fleeing the scene after starting some more climate change, which used to be called arson. That's what I think's going on, exactly. Where we go one, we go all. But some guys, he lit the fire, right? Caught, trying to flee now. These people they are the climate change, okay? The climate crazies. Arson's see, drones are not bad if you can catch people doing this shit. Yeah, I need a cushion. A good soft cushion. But anyway, this is what I think goes on a lot with those fires, including in the UK, all over Europe at the moment. Wait and see if climate crazies caused it. Lit them. Okay, some of this isn't gonna... Okay, this one. The persistence is Scott Presler. Holy cow, you're going to want to sit down for this one. The Pennsylvania Department of State just conducted a massive voter registration purge. This comes after we've been exposing non-citizens on the PA voter rolls. Democrats just lost tens of thousands of voters. Oh, God love you.
At Menacing Muskrat U9M donated 10 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. Okay, let's have more pillows for her chair. Okay, Shannon?
Oh, God love you, Mercy. You really are a legend. Yeah, I need a couple of pillows for my chair. Just one butt cheek's a bit sore. Worse than the other one. I think I've been leaning on that side a bit. Oh, dear. Okay. They've been exposing non-citizens on the PA voter rolls. The Democrats just lost tens of thousands of voters. The thing that never happens keeps happening. I'll post the data shortly. This is how citizen journalism works. Okay, what else? Yeah, we know Ann Widdecombe was a patriot pensioner. She was murdered in her own home by a vile anti-white demon who hit her 21 times with a camera. With a hammer, sorry, not a camera. Goodness me. Hey, Timmy, how you doing? Okay, yeah, this woman was killed by someone who is anti-white, okay? And I feel sorry for that poor woman. Okay, sick of everything, said, look, terrorist attack after terrorist attack by extremist Muslims have never once made a left-winger change their opinion. Black boys stabbing up other black boys doesn't change their opinion. Rape statistics where per capita is relevant doesn't change their opinion. Even their child being murdered over a camera didn't change their opinion. Henry Nowak, Rhiannon White, Wayne Broadhurst, Lee Rigby and many more. God, even children being murdered in Manchester Arena made no difference. Ann Widdecombe, they laughed at her murder. Charlie Kirk, they laughed at that too. Stop expecting them to change. We need to solve it another way. I don't know which way they're suggesting, but put them in prison. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough, is it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we've all got the same problems, honestly. We have all got the same problems. Doesn't matter which country we are in, we all have the same problems. Oh, God love ya.
At Darlene 6,239 donated 10 Australian dollars through Super Chat.
Thank you so much, Darlene. You're a legend. Seriously, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, I do need to get a cushion for this chair. I mean, I've got a couple of towels and another cushion, but it's not a real cushion. It's like a seat insert, just slightly cushioned. But yeah, it's still quite hard. Very hard chair. Yeah, out to lunch. Hi, Kai. 111 times I plead the fifth. Out to lunch said, so is Florida going to prosecute Fauci? Well, Florida could because apparently the states can. So this is going to jump. There you go. How far back can I go? Can I at least get back to... There you go. Okay, where am I? Oh. Okay, Lancelot said chemical skies are a daily occurrence here in WA. Yep. Shannon said mockingbird media is the enemy of the... I hold them the most accountable because if people knew the truth, they wouldn't do it. People wouldn't be voting the way they're voting. We wouldn't be allowing this if the media could just tell the truth. I'm a messenger said Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. God love ya.
At Shannon Spear 8,751 donated 14 Australian dollars and 99 cents through Super Chat. Okay, Timmy, beat this. I know, just bought a coach bus, so it may sting a bit.
Oh, God love you. You're a legend, Shannon. Oh, seriously. Yep. Um, yeah, you guys have your little war in the comment section there. Oh, it's a very not a war really. It's I don't even know what to call it. Your little back and forth. Oh, West Virginia too, Kai. Chemtrails every day. Lancelot said, refusing to answer. How is this allowed? I know. I believe he should be held in contempt. Out to lunch? No, George. Right is right, no matter who claims it's not. Yeah, and just because, like, a majority of people believe in something doesn't make it right, okay? Look at COVID. The majority of the world just went along with it, mate. And people like me were kicked off here. You had doctors who were, they lost their practice and everything because of that. But the majority of the world believed that to be true. Doesn't mean they were right. Even Q said that. Just because the majority of people believe X does not mean X, which could be anything, right? X does not mean X is true. I mean, a lot of people might believe, scientists in something that's just not true, really. AK out to lunch said, no, George. Right. Renee said, Tennessee supposedly said they have a bill to get rid of them, yet I see almost every day. Okay, Paul said, for the last month, Perth has been hit by multiple daily spraying due evil Fs. Yep. Sal said, Trump will be taken off the board soon. Sherry said they chemtrail at night here in Indiana too. I've seen the trails when the moon is shining. Yes, you can tell the difference because a contrail disappears within seconds after a plane, a normal contrail. A chemtrail will last and it will spread across the sky and it creates a haze. It creates cloud as well. Deb said different rules for us, Lance. Oh, Taxilla, how you going? Lancelot said hello, thanks for the updates. And God love you, Shannon. George said out to lunch. We have a lot of evil people in the UK. Yes, we do in all our countries, and they're the ones running everything. Kai said Lance wasn't having received a pardon, not answering the questions, places Fauci in contempt of Congress. Zal said, I see this all around Western Sydney. I always say it's a third world building the third world. Yeah, well, that's what they're doing. They want to tear us down to third world levels. They're on their way. They're doing it. Lancelot said standards, right? Humanity is being tracked and monitored. I know. Lancelot said contempt. I hope so. George said invite the third world, become the third world. Yeah, exactly. Too many? Yep, you do become that. Out to lunch said they carpenter just like they drive. Yes, they do. Lancelot said gross. Kai said track, monitored and evaluating our contribution to society in preparation for culling the herd. J1 said George with a thumbs up. Lancelot said heard, well said. Menacing said, where's the building inspectors? Exactly. They're probably Indian too. They'll pass it. Menacing. If the building inspectors are Indian, they're going to pass their Indian mates' work. That's how it works in Australia. Same as if you were a Muslim and, they'll get a Muslim building inspector and they'll pass that work. George said, I've had enough of the bullshit happening right now. I know, George, but hang in there because the UK, I think, is about to change in a big way. Deb said, dodgy brother school. Leslie said, my family are builders. This is bad. It is. Oh, yeah, Leslie, it's really bad. Out to lunch said, pocket door. Sal said, Arthur and Wayne, dodgy would be proud. Lancelot said, nothing is legitimate or built to be safe and secure. Not anymore. Yeah, Water Rabbit, the third world slop, exactly. Kai said, my need for epilepsy medication means I'll just click off one day when that right pill gets put in a batch. Deb said, yes, it's a sliding door. Shannon said, looks like those facade cities in China. Yeah, it does. Lancelot said it's exhausting. It is. J1 said it's a big club, yet, and we ain't in it. Said Kai, yep. Deb said, kick us more, elbow government. Yep. Menacing said, I hope we don't have a minus 40 degrees Celsius weather this winter so they don't come up here. Oh, you hope we do have a minus 40 so they don't come up there. Yeah, menacing. I was going to say something about that. Because I went to the snow for a holiday here in Australia. Snow in Australia is completely different. We don't get minus 40 degrees. I think the most I've ever seen is like minus 10, 8, and that is in the snowy mountains, not where I am. Oh, God love you.
Timar28 donated $50. Back at you, Shannon. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Smiley face emoji.
Oh, God love you, Timmy. You're a legend, mate. Okay, Shannon, you've been challenged. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Deb. Oh, God love you. There's another one coming. Is it going to pop up? Yep. Oh, God love you.
Active Richardson 7,772 donated $5 through Super Chat. I would like to donate to Hav's comfortable chair too. Kissing face emoji, kissing face emoji, kissing face emoji, kissing face emoji.
Oh, God love you. You're a legend, Deb. Legend, Timmy. Legend, Shannon. Menacing, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, guys. Yeah, it is exhausting, Lancelot, but don't give up, okay? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Okay, I'd read that one out. Shannon said, "Burr." Menacing said, and they go back to where they come from. Yeah, they should. George said, Kai, don't want to be in their evil group. Deb said, that's brutal, Menacing. It is. Minus 40. We don't get that here in Australia. We get like the day we were in Thredbo where the wind was blowing. Oh my goodness.
At Menacing Muskrat U9M donated 51 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. Okay, at Tim, I got here.
Oh, okay, Tim, I got you. Oh, you're a legend, Menacing. Oh my goodness, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys are legends. That is amazing. I should be able to buy a bit of a cushion for my chair. So, yeah, it's actually not even probably the bottom. It's between the bottom and the leg that hurts. It's just the whole. Yeah, it's a really hard chair, but hey, it's the only one that fits in here. So there you go. Menacing said, "I know, Deb. I'm sorry." Deb said, "Clink clink." Sal said, Mr. Plumber Unionist, how much would he be raking in? Oh, that guy, I don't know, he'd be raking in a lot of money. J1 said, sounds legit, lol. Lancelot said, the capital letter institution's so diabolical. The labels are deceptive by intention. Folks just glaze over. Yes, they do. When you've got an alphabet thrown at you, like I was trying to read all those. Oh, my God. The alphabet's getting thrown at you. Those capital letter institutions. Water Rabbit said, Hev, just about a year ago, I couldn't even find you right when you started the chicken coop. Glad you're still here. Oh, God love you. Yeah, I've been through chicken coops and lots in the last 5 years since, see, they kept on deleting my channels. I had 2 channels deleted, I think. And an extra 1 or 2 or 3 maybe. That I was trying to run around YouTube on. Oh, my God. I'm glad I'm still here, Water Rabbit. Thank you so much. George said we have God on our side, so have faith, everyone. These politicians are the devil's children. They are. Hang in there because it's about to get really good for us, okay? Just hang in there. Leslie said we need a royal commission into everything. Menacing said, just want to say, sending you all lots of muskrat love. God love yous. Lancelot said, Faith, better to trust yourself. J1 said, yep, you must show the people. Yeah, you can't tell the people. You have to show them. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing. Everything's exposure, including the whole Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and everything like that. Even the Candace thing, showing you who you can and can't trust. Especially with Candace Owens. Ooh. Lancelot said, I'll stand up till I'm dead. My grands are worth my life. Yes. Yeah, my grandkids are worth my life. That's why I'm I can't stop fighting. Out to lunch said Musgrave is always so menacing. They love us and we can't do a thing about it. Shannon said, bed is warm, but I want coffee. See the bind I'm in? Yeah. George said, all these politicians care about is money and power. Hey, Paranormal Oz, how you going? Good to see ya. J1 said the education system should be high on the list of reforms. It should be. But the media is a major one. Out to lunch said, Shannon, get a coffee maker next to your bed. Lancelot said, white hate, this is where we are. Yeah, there's a lot of it. It's all over everywhere. I feel sorry for smart black people, honestly. Smart Asian people, you know. I mean, most of what I see, they hate white people. But then there's some that are really sensible and smart, and they don't play victim. They get up and they do their thing. They know, and I respect the hell out of them. Shannon said they changed the recipe of Cadbury chocolate. It's not the same, and it's getting thinner and smaller. Yes, it used to be a 250-gram block of chocolate. It used to be 1.5 cups of full cream dairy milk in every 200-gram bars, even though they've still got the little milk thing printed on the side. I don't think they have full cream milk in every 250-gram or 200-gram bar anymore. I think they use palm oil now. Go Whittaker's chocolate. New Zealand make Whittaker's chocolate. It's more cocoa than sugar, and it's actually quite bloody nice, I must say. Less sugar and more cocoa, and it's quite nice. Menacing said, fuzzy slippers and house coats. Go quick and jump back into bed. George said, a lot of white hate in the UK. Yeah, we're getting it in Australia as well. Lancelot said, never mind, we're paying the bills. Shannon said, para in the house. Menacing said, you're fast, Shannon. Shannon said, I'm naked and it's cold. Oh, okay. Out to lunch said, if you like to wake up to bacon frying when you get up, get a George Foreman grill. 2, little fridge and all. Yeah. Deb said, I'd bring you coffee and breakfast in bed, Shannon. George said, put some clothes on you, Shannon. Out to lunch said, Shannon, shrinkflation is real. Menacing said, it's a riptide. Lancelot said, what parents let the kid go into that? Yeah. Shannon said, not minus 40 degrees cold. If it's what that was cold, I would be in myself. If it was that cold, I'd be in myself. Out to lunch said, Deb, that is a solicitation. Joe1 said the sea was angry that day, my friend. Yep. Yeah, the undertow. Shannon, no joke. It's you can see it. You can see when the waves go out, how fast it's pulling, how, especially when there's someone already in the water. You can see it. Out to lunch said, I'm naked too under my clothes. Deb said, no wonder I do not go into the sea. Yep, Lancelot said, Amish had it right all along. I love the Amish. I think they're the ones who know the best way to live, to be honest. Out to lunch said, J1, it was Titleist. Shannon said, we suffer from shrinkflation in the cold. Deb's laughing and said, oh, my God. Lancelot said, tech is the root of all ruin. Yep, Water Rabbit said, I fear the ocean. It's unexplored and mysterious. I respect it too. Yep. George said, crikey, everyone's getting naked. J1 said, out to lunch, Seinfeld. Deb said, Shannon. Out to lunch said, Amish make diesel fuel out of hemp oil, lye, and methanol. Oh, wow. Maria, how you going? I haven't all late again, not getting notifications. So what's new? But I'm here nonetheless. God love you. Thank you. Deb said, I'm pleading the fifth. Lancelot said, pocket cameras, constant seeking of attention, narcissistic humanity. Yeah, half the time I forget to take photos of things that I like living in the moment experience. Oh, God love you.
Timar28 donated $37. Since the conversion rate for 51 Canadian dollars to US is $36.37, I've donated $37 United States dollars, which is $52.70 Australian.
Thank you, Timmy. God love you, you legend. Oh, that's so funny. You guys are amazing. You really are. Everyone's saying hello to Maria. Maria said, why plead the fifth unless you're guilty? Exactly. That's what I think. That's the only reason you would. Shannon said, that's not the breakfast in bed I want to eat, Debs. Oh, Shannon. Water Rabbit said, hi, George, and all your digits. Leslie said, this is why it's taking so long to uncover the crimes. Every day another twist. Yeah, exactly. Lancelot said, gender quotas. What is that? Be human. George said, breakfast in bed is a good tune. UB40. Out to lunch said, now Shannon is soliciting. J1 said, subversion. It really is a cancer. Yep. Leslie said, Ben Carroll and wife. Oh, yeah, that thing was his wife, you reckon? Kai said, 1963, shot came from front seat. CIA took over everything fake from then till now. J1 said, Fabians by night. Out to lunch said, I figured there are weird folk there. George said, the Labor Party in the UK are Fabians. Yeah, most of them are. Deb said, yes, the cut video shows that, Kai. J1 said that would make them lesbians. Leslie said, yes, Kai, have you seen the original Zapruder tape? Kai said, it's why Jackie wore that dress with the blood stain. Water Rabbit said, there are weird folk, poor and rich. The rich have more options. Yeah, they do. Kai said, I've seen tons of tapes. Lancelot said, America is the last bastion of possibility. Yet the country is overrun by illegal immigration, attacks and financial strain. I hate them. Yeah, they are the last bastion of freedom and possibility. George needs to use the bathroom. Okay. Kai said, been waiting for anything to happen for a couple of decades. Kai said, out to lunch said, Kai, have you been doing any lives? Lancelot said, ordinary people, meaning those with a moral base. I think so. Kai said, sometime in mid-August, they're taking out a moon base, calling it a lost rocket crash. Water Rabbit said, George, pea is good fertilizer when diluted, just an FYI, especially for lemon trees, apparently. Leslie said, Bill Cooper said it. J1 said, I guess the Iran thing would go at least the end of the year when it started. I thought it'd be over real quick. It shows how right I am. Shannon said, okay, Trachedax or Next Step coffee. And I don't know what that is, a tablet of some sort. Lancelot said, I'm so done with the hatred of everything respectful or quantifiable. Yeah, when good is bad and bad is good. Out to lunch at a 5-story big meteor is to hit the moon August 5th at 1 or something a.m. Central. Kai said, out to lunch, not on this channel. It's the third one. First got locked, second one, phone got zapped. You needed that, George? That's good. Menacing said, and their time is running out. Kai said, been moved up and changed. Shannon said, lawyer was a distraction because he knew Fauci was about to call the 5th 100 times. Lancelot said, Fauci, it's completely needed documentary. Definitely. Water Rabbit said, glad it came out okay, George. Lancelot says he knows he's guilty. Body language speaks volumes, yes. George said, Fauci has blood on his hands, Dr. Evil. Yeah, Kai, he's toast. Lancelot said, narcissistic personalities, most politicians. J1 said, shitstain. Menacing said, and wait, Fauci will be off to Argentina. Out to lunch said, write that in your diary. Lancelot said, scarf lady, slap that lady. Yeah, remember, yeah, Burks. Deborah Burks. George said, Trump should put that scumbag in prison. J1 said, can't wait till this shines on Australia. Shannon said, it wasn't a book diary, it was a government PC, and he emailed it to himself, and that's how we got it. Oh, there you go. Out to lunch said, camera should have recorded the crime, right? Lancelot said, 13% of the population commit 80% of the crimes. Black on white is the most common. Yeah, black on black is one of the major common things too, isn't it? George said the world is run by the devil's children. Kai said probably the most attention Fauci saw since med school hazing. Leslie said they're following UK civilian justice. Lancelot said remove every illegal now. J1 said I got sick in the guts all over again watching the Fauci show. Oh no. Maria said no menacing. Fauci cannot go to Argentina. They'll put him in jail too. Out to lunch said Shannon, who did Fraudy think he would play him in a movie? Oh yeah. Shannon said, just wear a Muslim lady's burqa when you cut down a flock camera. Attack of the Pepper Pots. Nice one, Shannon. Shannon said, Brad Pitt. Menacing said, reptilian hybrids, devil spawn. Kai said, 60,000 Israeli people invaded Spain in border rush today too. I've heard that. I had enough to talk about with Fauci. I had to wait. So now I'll go in after this and get everything I can on all the different news. George said a lot of Muslim men wear the burqa. Oh, there you go. Deb said, Shannon, not a silly idea. See, that's when if you go in the bathroom, you don't know who's in there if they're wearing a burqa. Do you? Ah. J1 said, Kai, it's fucking crazy. Out to lunch said, send a video of license plate covering that hides your plate from the cameras. Menacing said, Muslim men wearing a burqa, and that's their glory hole. Deb said, now we know the truth. Out to lunch said, but you can read from behind. J1 said orchestrated. Out to lunch said Muskrat. Lancelot said black hatred of the system. They suck, they abuse, they get the hell out. My tax dollars are not paying for your sorry system abusing family. George said Islam is the devil's religion. Kai said it was civilian horde, my description. Deb said males, George? Shannon said, I know, right, Debs, you could even hide the sawzall under that thing. Maria said, if only it was just about wearing clothes. It's about how they treat women and children via Sharia law. I agree. Out to lunch said it was a dude in a burqa. He'll be driving off the roof if trans, though. Or diving off the roof. Yeah, definitely. Out to lunch said you could hide a rifle under that burqa. You could. Lancelot said Fauci, anything not sold or profitable to Big Pharma was not allowed, right? Yep. Yeah, Caesar, I agree. Where we go on, we go all. I demand the arrest of Dr. Fauci now. He should be. Out to lunch said, pillow under your bum, like this. Caesar said, smash that like button now, subscribe and share. Thank you, guys. Lancelot said, wildfires? Nope, these are intentional. Absolutely. George said, Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6. Yeah, and consummated the marriage when she was 9. Out to lunch said, next week I'll help too. God love you. Out to lunch. Thank you. Kai said, Remdesivir or whatever was nicknamed Run, Death is Near by doctors over here. Yeah, exactly. God love you guys. You guys are legends. Deb said, we appreciate you so much, Menacing. Not a lot of chairs fit in a broom closet. No, they don't. Shannon said, goats wearing a burqa is a glory hole. And they are always, oh, God. I'm about to start getting a tickle in my throat. Timmy said, I had no idea there was a live today. Hello, everyone. It was a crazy last 10 days or so. Hope everyone's doing well. You too, Timmy. As always, good to see you. Lancelot said, consider whenever they want to create or change truth, they burn it. Look at history. Yes, they do. Kai said they chose administration based on personality and looks. Caesar said 19 plus states use driver's license for illegal aliens to vote. Yes, they do. Deb said climate change fires coming from lasers from the sky. Menacing said, Timmy, let's have more pillows for her chair. Kai said, how did the earthquake go, Dr. T? Did you have an earthquake there, Timmy? Deb said, hello, our Dr. Timmy's in the house. Menacing said, whoops, hello, Timmy, how you doing? Oh, my stomach's going to start grumbling now. I don't know if you can hear that. My stomach's going, I'm hungry. Caesar said, down with the traitor king of England? Yes. He's a Muslim. Out to lunch said all those fires in Canada starting all at the same time. Well, that's real sus then. If they're starting all at the same time, yeah. Caesar said, down with the so-called House of Windsor. Oh, Darlene too, you're a legend, mate. Lancelot said, wildfires, what a deceptive and never researched answer to their need for control. Exactly. Caesar said, diversity is not a strength, it's a weakness. Exactly. I agree. Diversity is a weakness. It will backfire. Oh, God love you. Oh, and Deb. Okay, where was I up to? Zal said that means there's no government J1 if they're leasing post offices. Zal said most people are weak though, Hev. Yeah, I know. J1 said, Zal, it's interesting. Out to lunch said people were forced to get that shot like nurses and doctors. Yes, I know. Zal said most people are sheep, Hev. Out to lunch said, I'm a bad one though. Yeah, I'm the black sheep in my family. Shannon said, showering heaven gold. Kai said most doctors and nurses took saline solution, wrote it down as vaxxed. J1 said we had an emergency alert in Australia recently. Some phones had the message titled Presidential Alert. Really? Menacing said, yes, indeed, take out the health workers first. Out to lunch, no health base. Shannon said, Debs, did you trick me? I don't see Timmy unless he's digging behind the couch to find lost coins to throw at Hev. No, he did it through Streamlabs, Shannon. He donated through Streamlabs, so it didn't come up on YouTube. Jennifer, how you doing? Good to see ya. George said, right now I'm refusing to pay my council tax. It's all a scam. Yep, Deb said, I'd like to donate to Heb's comfortable chair too. Keith said, holy crap, I stumbled onto a live. I don't get notifications anymore. How you going, Keith? Yeah, YouTube's crazy. They don't like me. Because I don't want to really monetize, because I don't want to piss people off with ads every 2 minutes or 1 minute. You know, you can see where YouTube puts them. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to people. Yeah, so they don't really, you know, they can leave me, you know. Take me or leave me. Sorry. Yeah. George says, some of our council tax goes towards this council workers' pension. I refuse to pay for their pension. Yeah, I don't blame you. Deb said, Timmy always be bringing it? Shannon said, and they say the poor can't influence the rich. Lol. George said, some. Yeah, Menacing said, okay, Timmy, I gotcha. Shannon said, there are only dollars from Canada, Stan. Oh, all dollars matter, right? All dollars matter. Just like all lives matter, all dollars matter. It doesn't matter where they're from. Unless someone's trying to bribe me, and then that's a bit of a problem. But hey, I don't do that anyway. I can't. I won't sell out. They cannot buy. No way in the world. Deb said, Timmy, legend. Zal said, hey, as a kid, I played footy at Katoomba in -3 degrees Celsius in the 80s. Yep, they do have it. They do have it. I'm not saying, yeah, definitely not saying they don't. But the most I've seen, and I'm looking at Threadbow a lot of the time, was I think it was -10 or 11. But the cold in Australia is not like, I don't think maybe even the US, maybe not that, you know, cold. But we still get snow. So, yeah, it's very, very different, I think. Everyone's going, yeah, Timmy and Menacing. Menacing said it's a great day to celebrate. Out to lunch at putting heaven in new tax bracket. Oh, that'll just get me paid this month. It's been sitting at like, first it sat at $30 the first month. So YouTube won't pay you unless you get over $100. Okay? And because I'm not putting ads on, I'm not getting anything extra. So, yeah, it can take like 3 to 4 months to get paid from YouTube. You guys have just done it in one day. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Shannon said, now Hav can afford enough cushions under her whole to smother her whole family. Oh, my God. Yeah, Shannon. Leslie said, Hav will have to pay tax if this keeps going. Deb said, yes, I would have been very lost without Hev and the Hevites. God love you. Sal said, Hev, the perennial Aussie struggler. Oh, I'm always struggling. One day I'll get there. I swear to God. Leslie said, look in my subscriptions and found your old channel still there from years ago. Yeah. It came back. They gave it back to me a few months ago. Maybe 8 months ago nearly. George said, I'd rather go to prison than pay tax to these scumbags. Yeah, Deb, thumbs up is free. And you're all legends anyway for just listening to me. But if you can give me a thumbs up, you're even more of a legend, believe me, in my eyes. Zal said, George, send them a promissory note as payment. Yeah. Zal said they have to take it. J1 said cacao and honey is the best milkshake. George said, I've looked into that, Zal. Zal said, You have to play their game to ensure they accept it as payment. J1 said cacao is my only chocolate fix these days. Yeah. Leslie said Albo wearing a hard hat in WA from an Indian company. They want to build our new oil. Oh, God, no. Not an oil refinery. It'll be spurting oil out everywhere. There'll be leaks all over the joint. Yeah, Deb, Albo is a minion. He's nothing but a puppet for the people who are really in charge. Maria said, I only trust God Almighty. Yep. J1 said, Albo's a Vegemite driller. Sal said, correct, Deb. They're all coming apart, though. Deb said, Tim has done the math. He sure did. J1 said, Zal said J1 Albo's a dung puncture. George said Albo as well has the Labor Party in the UK are demons. Yeah. They're all the same, exactly the same, George. Shannon said, I would donate more, but my BT50 is in the shop and the bill will be more than $3,000. Oh, yeah, no, you're right, Shannon. Don't feel obligated. But it's nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Deb said, Albo's a footstool. Yep. Maria said, yes, true, George. Menacing said, lol, Dr. Timmer, that was a good one. Admiral of Truth, not afraid of truth. Hey, all you lovely truth family, we can't trust any of these so-called elites until perhaps one of them comes out and tells the truth about how they all invert genders. I won't hold my breath. I agree. George said, I heard the Labor Party wants a war with the British people. A civil war is coming to the UK. Yeah, you never know. It could be too, you know. Hey, Admiral, how you doing? Shannon said, that's almost a set of tyres for your bus, Timmy, or one tank of fuel for your TBM. What's TBM? Zal said, Albo's an ostrich. He doesn't mind who comes up from behind, though, I hear. Yeah, I don't think he does. J1 said the UN has no gender objective documented. Deb said, yes, George. A hotel owner said that they were bringing guns and men, getting ready for something. Zal said, happening here too, Deb. Leslie said, recently found out about Sam Neill, not a good read, club member. Yes, definitely. George said, I'm sure Burnham loves to be taken from behind as well. Zal said, are you surprised, Leslie? Menacing said, Kai, I wish Bruce was here to film the moon on August 12th with Elon Musk adventure. George said, we got rid of Starmer for another scumbag. I know. That's what I'm worried about here in Australia. Kai said, I believe there's about to be a worldwide outbreak of violence causing an excuse for martial law arrest on suspicion. If that's the case, that's what Trump will use to get it all done. Sal said, who's supplying the boats for these mobs? I'd like to know too. Oh, shit, hang on. Whoa. Oh, man, what was that? I just got a massive dizzy spell. Holy shit. Might be because I haven't eaten breakfast, maybe. Oh, my God. That was weird. Okay. Breathe. Holy shit. Lester said, old Latin Fauci means sickle. Oh, there you go. Lester said, hello, hello, sister, love. Oh, God love ya. How you going, Lester? Good to see ya. Shannon said, I think I just put my stick of butter in the microwave for a tad too long. It was shaped like butter, but my knife went through service onto yellow lava. Menacing said, I know, Kai. You could imagine what Bruce could have seen. Kai said they took him out right after the pop-up launch bay door clip. Whenever he found after was too much for them. Deb said, ice knife. Kai said he probably saw the base that's about to go poof. Menacing said, I know, Kai, flipping bastards. How you going, Cassandra? How you doing? Oh, where'd that go? It's shumped again. I might have to just go from here, guys. That was weird. Yeah. Lester said, sorry, hang on. Where was I up to? Around here somewhere. Lester said, Deb, hello, sister. I can't pronounce that other bit. Shalom. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it. Deb said, thank you for all supporting our Hev. God love you. George said, we need ice in the UK. We do. Sal said, you're late, Cassandra. Yeah, but YouTube don't give out notifications anymore. So that's the thing. Timo said, lol, Shannon, tyres are about $765 each for the coach. I found out the hard way after buying 10 of them. It was very much like, dear God, what have I done? Oh, no, Timmy. Cassandra said, are we watching a movie today? No, probably not today. Maybe in a day or so. I'll have to see, because what I did was I paused Streamlabs because they kept on taking money out of my account, and I haven't had anyone call in for a couple of weeks, so I thought, no, I'll just pause it for now. And that's the one I usually watch movies on. So I'll have to see if I can do it through Streamlabs and see if we can do it that way. Cassandra said, lol, I'm sure I'm late. Better late than never. Yes, definitely. Busy with band marketing homework. Definitely. Better late than never. Tim said 1,089 AUD times 10. Shit, that's a lot. Menacing said something is screwing around with the Schumann resonance. Can you feel it? I can feel something. Deb said, I don't know. I don't think there was a plan for a movie. Zal said, yes, Menacing, the field's being agitated for sure. Kai said, I got super dizzy about 2 hours ago. Tim S. said, I'm saving Hev the 30% YouTube steals by donating through Streamlabs. Yes. If you go through, I'm going to pin this message, right, from Deb. If you go through that, I get all of that money, the pin message, if you go through Streamlabs, as YouTube takes 30%. Out to Lunch said, need Hev's PayPal address to donate all. Yeah, the only thing is it's got my real name on there. Like, not that I mind, but we always get told, don't put your real name out there. I don't know. J1 said, Timo Wowzers, did they have Pirelli written on the side of them? Deb said, Hev, get more from Stream. Kai said, money makes the world go round. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, you do need it to survive these days. But, you know, like, yeah, if I didn't have to worry about it, I wouldn't be worried about it at all, really. Menacing says, Zal been feeling spacey all day today, weak and achy. Lester said, George, brother, how you going? Menacing said, oops, I forgot about that, Dr. Timo. George said, I'm off to bed soon, I'm knackered. I don't blame you. Sal said, Menacing, I don't think the shift is too far away. When it comes, everything will change, including our bodies. Shannon said, so no burnouts in the bus. Noted, donuts it is then. Either way, if you do burnouts or donuts, you're going to wreck your tyres. Sal said, what's wrong with Pirelli's J1? Timo said, tyres. Tyres for a bus J1 is a 45-foot coach. Shannon was trolling me, and here I am taking the bait. Zal said, I got them on my FJ Cruiser. Menacing said, I know we are close. The world can't take much more. The King of Kings is returning soon. J1 said, Zal, nothing at all. Lols can be expensive for top of the range. Out to Lunch said, Hev's got YouTube, got square with the eyes donations. Hev, has YouTube got square with eyes? No, they haven't. No. They, as far as I know, I don't know if Eyes ever got his money back. Eyes to see and ears to hear. He donated £450. Oh, God love you.
Timar28 donated $40. Stream fees. Apologies for not being available last week. Red heart emoji, red heart emoji.
Oh, God love you. No, I knew you were busy. If you couldn't make it, I knew you were busy. Thank you, Timmy. I'll probably end up paying for it and doing it again. So I've paused the billing. That's all I've done. So I could go on in a day or two or today and just start it up again. So thank you. I appreciate that. You're a legend, Timmy. Yeah, so they haven't actually got square with Eyes donations. So he had donated 3 times £150, and YouTube deleted my channel. They kept the money. They never paid it out. So I don't know. I don't know what they need to look, I'd prefer they give it back to him, to be honest, because it was his money and they just took it and ran. And that's not good. Kai said, "Oh Lord, never buy a motorhome." Menacing said, "Repent and pray." Shannon said, "If you haven't made a minimum donation to have, hang your heads in shame." No, it's okay. I don't mind. Like, just people watching is good for me, and thumbs up is even better, And then if you donate, then you just really top of the. But doesn't matter. Yeah, don't ever feel obligated. That's all I want to say. Kai said, "Even you." Menacing said, "King of Kings." Where did that go? Oh, there. Oh, God love you.
At Carl John Anthony donated 14 Australian dollars and 99 cents through Super Chat. Someone make Hev cry.
Oh, God love you, Carl. Yeah, that happens every now and then. Yep, when it gets going, you guys can make me cry. Deb said, "Oh my God, Shannon." Tim S. said, "Nothing is wrong with Pirellis, in my opinion, Zal. I think J1's point was for the price I paid. They should be Pirellis." Yes, that's what I think it was about, yes. And Tim S. said, "They're not." Lester said, "There's no difference from Gate and Fauci. They work on ways on killing us off." Out to Lunch said, "So it came out VPNs are a scam, so be careful." Yes. Yes, I've heard that. I've heard even antiviruses. Hey, don't just get rid of it though. But I've heard antiviruses are the same. They make us pay for more than what we need. Shannon said, "Timo's spending up big on rubbers, rubber tyres." Timo said, "Roll on the floor laughing my ass off, Shannon." Kai said, "Gates has it on his sign, Foundation for Population Reduction." Out to Lunch said, "Lester, depopulation is their goal for sure." Out to Lunch said, "What happened?" Menacing said, "No oxygen in that small space, Have." No, I got the window open. No, I just sort of looked sideways and my head started spinning and I thought, "Oh no, I'm not going to pass out on stream, am I?" That's why I just went, "Whoa," and then I just tried to gather myself back together again. George said, "Gates is another demon. He will not win." Exactly. Oh, God love you, Carl. Hey, Robert. How you going? What's up? Yeah, Timmy is good to our Have. God love him. It means peace be to you, the person. So I know the first bit, shalom. Shalem. I can't even pronounce that. Oh, my goodness. To you, the person greeted responds in reverse. Oh, okay. To you be peace. Oh, wow. Maria said, "Please eat your breakfast, at least have. Gotta go. Bye all. Love you. You too." Robert said, 8:02 p.m. Dallas, Texas. 101 degrees out. Ooh. Kai said, "She's an angel." George said, "Take care, Maria." Yep, Tim Air is good to me. Thank you so much, you guys. Tim Air and all you guys, you are amazing. J1 said, "I'm a Toyo fan when it comes to tyres." Out to Lunch said, "Thieves they are." Yep, Deb's given Carl a crown and a cup. And Shannon said, "Sounds like religion of peace. A piece of you over there, a piece of you over here." Everyone's saying hello. And Shannon said, "Yeah, have cry." Kai said, "Shannon knows what's up." Oh, Out to Lunch said, "Good on you, Carl." Yeah, Shannon, tears of joy. Yeah. It makes me cry, tears of joy when you guys donate. Oh, yeah. George said, "I hate predictive text." Yeah, I know. It changes the whole sentence, doesn't it? Deb said, "It's the dodgy chair." Out to Lunch said, tears of joy are better than sorrow tears. May even have a different chemical makeup, right? Yeah, I think so, because it makes you feel different. It's not like you're crying with. It's a very different feeling than crying out of being upset. Deb said, "That's why we're donating to Hev Chair Fund." Sal said, "Get Hev the comfy chair." And Kai said, "Out to lunch with thumbs up." Deb said, Hev's chair is creating a lot of problems for her back. Dodgy chair. Yep, Deb's put like little teapots up there. Shannon said, I can make whole elevators of people cry, captive audience or Dutch oven. Oh, no, Shannon. Oh, my God. Yeah, Kai said, crop dusted. Okay, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with more news, and we will get into either having a call-in or something this weekend. Okay, I'll see what day I've got off, because that's the day I like to do it, because then I've got the time to sit and talk. But if I've got to do my mum's eye drops and all of the stuff, then it's a lot more, yeah, I don't have the time as much. So, okay, guys. Yeah, lol, Shannon. Everyone's laughing at Shannon making people cry in elevators with a Dutch oven. I said pop one off getting out of the car. Tony found it the next day. Menacing said, you as bad as my husband, Dutch oven. Yep. There you go. Menacing. Okay, guys, much love to you guys. Hope you can join me again tomorrow. And I hope to see you then. Okay, bye, guys. Love you.